Hey everybody, Manic here. So I saw this pop up on the timeline a couple days ago and just haven't had the time to watch it just yet because I've been extremely busy with school. So thankfully I have a little bit of a break, so I'm going to watch this. I do know about this. I have watched it already. I watched it I think the day of the championships, but I wanted to do a video. I just would feel bad about taking an hour long video and just reacting to it. So I'll probably rewatch through it, take notes, take timestamps and that kind of stuff, and just talk about like what I feel is important. The other thing I want to mention is that since Smite 2 is is remade in Unreal 5, I will be paying very close attention to these deep dive developer updates, mainly because I am learning Unreal 5 in school. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be really fucking cool to work for Hi-Rez and everything. I've played this game for so long and love this game, but the key points that I'm trying to take away from it is just like opportunities to learn and to take notes on my own for things I could possibly work on in the future and things I could maybe implement for myself. Now, with that in mind, let's just go ahead and start the video. I'm going to be paying very close attention to a lot of things, so hopefully we can all learn together.
My name's Andrea Chang, and I'm the audio director here at Hi-Rez Studios working on SMITE 2. I helped build the audio team up from the ground up. When we started, we were actually very small of a team, and so it felt very prototypey, almost game jam-like. Basically, you would just bounce ideas off of each other very quickly. So it was very organic and grassroots-like. So one of the first things that I would say is a huge improvement on our end is using meta sounds, which is our new audio system.
I haven't done anything with sounds aside from like small sound effects. This is nuts. I'm gonna go back a second. Look at this. Holy. Jesus, that is crazy, the amount of stuff here.
Which is our new audio system.
So we've got controls for audio, play track 1, set fade volumes. Okay, so this would probably be like just background noise and whatnot. Victory defeat track, makes sense. On play, interesting. Wave player, okay. I've done a little bit with wave player, not too much, but this is very interesting to see.
Which is a huge improvement over UE3's sound cues.
Oh, I
we have
bet.
increased voice count in SMITE 2. So in SMITE 1,
increased voice count.
the voice cap limit was 32 voices. If you're basically
Sorry. Interesting. So if I'm right, I mean this is being printed out through a print string. So this is just listing off all of the sounds that are playing in that moment. I'm sorry, is that a new Apollo model? That looks fucking great. That or this is this Smite 2? A little hard to tell. I think it is. That model looks great.
just walking.
Oh no, this I don't know. Point is, this model looks good. Audio environment conquest, ambient. So they have all of these ambient sound effects that are probably going through sound cues. Like she's saying, this might be Smite. And she's talking about that God Apollo movement. So probably each time he takes a step. Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know MVT, but I mean, it's a step. Every time he takes a step, it's making the noise. Sorry.
Down lane solo, that's already 24 voices. And
Damn.
if you add like fighting minions on top of that, then you're pretty much at your voice count cap.
Oh, geez, you see that? So every time the minions, and this is things I've kind of been learning over time, and it's starting to make a bit more sense the more I learn. So each minion has its own sound. Oh my god. Yeah, that would very quickly clutter up your sound cues. Or sound cap.
In SMITE 2, we didn't want voices to just randomly cut out and miss out
I'm sorry.
on important gameplay information, and so we raised the voice count limit to 128. That way people can hear things that they need to hear.
Oh my god, that makes so much sense. Okay, so that would make sense why sometimes you just don't hear abilities go off. Because I couldn't tell you how many times I get hit by, like, say, like a cuckoo ult because I just didn't hear it coming or something like that. That's very interesting. Well, I guess you could definitely say I'm glad they're increasing the sound cap.
And also the fidelity of the audio is just increased tremendously because you're able to hear so many more things and
Mm-hmm.
have such a more immersive experience. In
That's very
SMITE 2, we
good.
really wanted to make sure that we gave the players really good spatial information for the audio. And one of the things that we improved in SMITE 2
Wait a minute.
was
Was I seeing that right? Hang on.
we really wanted to make sure that we gave the players really
Oh, that's interesting. So they have, it looks like they have a sound tied to the tip of the spear that plays out the duration of the auto attack.
good spatial information for the audio. And one of the
And then the
things
sound
that
on
we
hit.
improved in SMITE 2 was
Interesting.
the attenuations. So attenuation basically is if you have an object and it emits a sound, the radius that you hear that sound from is the attenuation of that sound. So if you look at the picture, the red circle is SMITE 1's attenuation, and it's
Oh my god. Are you serious? So you're telling me in Smite 1, if I'm standing in the middle of the lane, I could, if there's not a lot of sounds going on, I can potentially hear shit all the way to their Phoenix? And that would be why sometimes you probably hear shit from other lanes? Oh my god, that's way too much. That's bad. I would assume, like, if that's what she's saying is the red is Smite, maybe the blue would be Smite too. So they're tightening it and making it more important on what you can hear in there. And then with the sound cap, I mean, that would just make things much more obvious, I would assume.
one's attenuation, and it's pretty large. SMITE 2 has a lot smaller of an attenuation. It's the blue circle. And because it's smaller, you get more accurate information of where the actual sound is spawning from. So continuing on that thread, occlusion is another way to give players better spatial information.
Ooh, okay.
So for example, if you have a Bellona behind a wall hacking away at the jungle, you don't want the Bellona to feel like they're
that's
right
cool.
next
I like
to
that.
you. You want to feel like they're...
That's a nice touch. That's the shit you normally will see in, like, shooters and whatnot. Like, it's really important in shooters. I'm fairly certain it's in other games as well, but that's very good for this type of game.
Occluded or coming from behind the wall.
Because then that also gives you an idea of, like, how far away something might be that's going on.
Developed an occlusion system that occludes the sound if it's blocked by something or if it's obstructed by something.
I was gonna say that probably, like she's saying, like, the obstruction or something in the way, possibly distance.
And so the sound will be decreased in volume, and also low pass filters will be applied to it if the sound is occluded.
That's so interesting.
So
I love that.
one of the things I wanted to do with SMITE 2 sound design was take a very intentional approach, and part of that is making things feel a lot more responsive. So for example, in Ymir's AO1 ability, right when you press that button, you get that
Oh
sound
my god, dude, that. I wish I could do this without you talking. I want to hear that sound effect again. I'm sorry. No offense to her. That sound is so good. Hang on.
One ability, right when you press that button, you get that sound.
Oh, that's so satisfying.
And ice crumbling. And I think that tactile feel really helps to make you feel like you're Ymir and super powerful Norse giant. The second thing that I wanted to focus on for the sound design was having high quality informative sounds. For example, in Ymir's AO2 ability, he spawns these
so
spikes.
Good too.
In SMITE 1, you hear these kind of high-pitched, fragile sounds. And in SMITE 2, I really want...
So we're going for, like, redoing sounds to make them more... The easiest way to put it would be, like, more powerful, more punch to them.
wanted the player to feel like these are actual spikes that could hurt you and
Yeah.
damage you, and so the sounds are a lot more visceral in Smite 2. And the
Oh,
third
that
point
sounds
is,
so good,
keep what's
dude.
good from Smite 1. If it's not broken, then don't fix it, right?
Hmm.
And so Ymir's AO3 is a great example of that. How, that's a very
Okay.
iconic sound.
Yes, it
And
is. Keeping
players
certain
recognize it right
sounds.
when
Yeah.
they hear it. They're like, oh, that's the frost breath.
Yeah.
And so
Okay.
that sound does everything we want it to do. So basically, we didn't have to change it. And we basically kept the core of the sound
Makes
and
sense.
just beefed it up slightly.
Absolutely makes sense.
We're
That's
a
good.
small team of 3 for audio, but I'm so proud of how much we've
Really?
accomplished in such a short time.
Only
And
3
I'm so
people.
excited for the fans to experience everything that we've worked so hard on.
That's crazy. Only 3 people for the sound team. That's so small, but like, wow, dude, that's crazy. That's really interesting, honestly. Anything else to this? No, not really. Okay. I'm looking forward to this, baby. Okay, but still, that I hate that I keep repeating myself. It's very interesting. And it makes me more hyped for the game because yeah, I mean the sound design in Smite 1 is good, but at the same time, it's obviously outdated and they're very limited to what they can do considering it's in Unreal 3. And I'll cover more of that when I go back over the dev insight because it is so important that it is jumping from Unreal 1 or Unreal 3 to Unreal 5. It is it seems to be extremely like underappreciated how big of a jump that is by a lot of the players. It's extremely important. um what was it? The occlusion stuff is very interesting. I mean, it's not. I keep saying everything is very interesting. The occlusion stuff is really. Uh, it will definitely add more immersion to everything. The fact that like I could be standing in middle lane and I may hear like somebody going for mids. Like you can do that already, but it seems like they're going for the more precise approaches to where like, oh yeah, you'll be able to hear that much more clearly. Like, oh, I know, maybe I didn't see the jungler over there, but I can hear it much more easily now because of how they've redone their sound design. And it would be muffled obviously because it's coming from the wall, but the closer I get to it, the more it becomes more loud. Those types of things. Let me see. Yeah, this. Oh my, I had no clue about this. Like it always confused me why sometimes I would hear things like I mean the one thing that comes to mind like occasionally you hear like an ability go off in solo lane or in the duo. Like I've definitely heard like a shock ult or something and be like, "Oh shit," thinking it was like next to me. And it's like, "Oh, never mind." Um but the fact that they're increasing the cap to 128 and then like reducing the range by half is huge. That's crazy. I mean, it's much better. Like I shouldn't be hearing their fucking Phoenix all the way in base, or I shouldn't be able to stand here in middle lane and be hearing their Phoenix. And the fact that I could be standing here and hearing things from like Gold Fury or Fire Giant is nuts. Granted, you wouldn't be able to hear that because of the sound cap, but yeah, this is gonna be a huge change. It's probably gonna be pretty big to adjust to this, and then that's not counting for like stealth grass. I'm sure that with like this stealth mechanic in the game, you may not be able to hear that kind of stuff as easily. It may like completely reduce noise. I would like. I'm, I'm very interested if things will be like, for example, like steps. I'm interested to know if like steps will be more prominent in that. And my first thought comes to like Loki. Like how much more prevalent are sounds going to be to the point where it's like even if I don't hear the Loki like pop his invis, like I'm sure with the sound cap being increased, you might hear it from farther away and be like, okay, I need to be careful. But then maybe you hear the steps coming as it gets closer. That's going to be very interesting because I'm sure you hear that in Smite 1, but with the sound cap, it's very possible that because of all the other noises going on, that's why you don't hear them. Was there anything else? I don't think so. I mean, this was more just something I noticed, like him throwing an auto and um having a sound tied to the auto attacks. I don't know if that's a thing in Smite 1, but it's interesting to see this um mainly for it definitely, my mind first goes to like if you're in the jungle and around a corner like setting up for a gank, it's possible that like say for example if the mid laner or duo laner hears you coming and they start auto attacking towards that direction that you might be coming from, like attacking ahead of time without thinking, and then you hear that and you can react to that in time. That's very it it, it sets up a lot of ideas for things that could be happening, and it makes me very excited. And this is just a video about sound design. Let's stress that this is just a video about the sound design, which is nuts. And man, I mean, let's replay this real quick. I want to replay this. Where was it? Where was that juicy on her ult, man? It sounded so good. Where was that? Was it up here? No. It was closer up here, wasn't it? No. No, 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 no. There it was. One of them.
Miss out on
Listen to
important
that.
gameplay information, and so we raised the voice count limit to
Oh, 1, 2, 3,
128.
4, 5 now. It sounds good too. The Ymir abilities sound great. Like, I'm excited for that. I mean, just listen to how chunky that sounds.
Right when you press that button, you get that.
Oh, man, sorry. I'm gushing at this point. Okay, that's where we'll just end it, because, man, I'm excited. I am even more excited to see more deep dives, for sure. And like I said, I'll go over this one at some point. It's going to be a while, mainly because it is very long, and I have other school shit that I'm dealing with. So, look forward to that, maybe. It's not going to be an hour and 5 minutes long. It's not going to be a full reaction to this. It's mainly, I'll probably also split it up, because from my memory, they talked about Smite 2 development, and then they talked about like matchmaking stuff. So I'll probably split it, obviously, and then break things down as I go. So either way, hopefully you enjoyed my little like gushing about learning Unreal 5 and seeing this kind of stuff, because it's something I've been picking up lately, is watching this kind of stuff to learn and familiarize myself a little bit more with things that are possible. So hopefully you enjoyed. It's just a quick little video. um, I'll probably have another video lined up for later, but hopefully y'all enjoyed. I'm repeating myself at this point, so I'm just going to end the video. Bye.